everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a workflow which will send a message on daily basis to your email. The message should contain today's weather information as well as motivational quote. Okay, for that, we're gonna create a workflow which is kind of a scheduled workflow which will send a message on daily basis. Okay, let me show you the steps involved in this workflow. For that, the first thing is click on create workflow and then name it daily weather and motivational quote. Daily weather and motivational quote. Okay, here in this workflow, the first step is we should create or we should add a trigger node. As I said earlier, this is a kind of a automatic email which we're going to send on daily basis. Okay, so that we should add a trigger which is a kind of a schedule. Let me search for schedule trigger. Just click on here. Here that trigger interval is days, since we want our mail should be on daily basis, and then days between triggers is 1 day, so we want only one message per day. And then the time is, let's select early morning 8 a.m. So these are the properties we're going to set for our schedule trigger. So if you want to check whether your node is working or not, you can simply run this execute step and then see if it's successful or not. See here, node executed successfully. So now go back to canvas. Now the next step is we should fetch weather information. Okay, for that let's gonna add another node which is http send, http request. Okay, here first is method. We should select method. Since we want to fetch weather information, let's keep the method as get. Okay, and then we should pass the URL to fetch weather information. Okay, for that let me get the URL which I'm going to use for this demo. This is the URL where I'm passing the latitude as well as longitude of the city to fetch weather information. Okay, and then if you want to keep authentication, you can keep authentication, but for this demo I'm keeping none. Okay, that's it about the HTTP request node which we are using to fetch weather information. Okay, for that let me rename it like get weather. Okay, now let's execute this to see whether it's working or not. See, node executed successfully. Okay, now go back to canvas. Let's add another HTTP request node to fetch quote information. Okay, to fetch quote information. Let's add it, and then again, as we did in the previous node, we should select get method and then the URL to fetch quote information. For that, let me get quote URL and then paste it here. So this is the code I'm using to fetch random quote information. After that, again for this node as well, I'm not selecting any authentication. Let's execute this. See, node executed successfully. We got the response, quote, and then author information. So let me rename this node to get quote. Okay, now go back to the canvas. So we got weather information and then quote information. The next thing is I want to form a message which I can send in the body of the email. Okay, for that we have a one node available in the n8n, that is edit fields. Okay, using this you can set data for your workflow. Here the data for my workflow is the body of my email which I'm going to send it to on daily basis. Okay, so here the Mode. Mode is, we have a two types of mode, manual mapping or JSON. So for this demo, I'm keeping manual mapping. And then what you want to send, okay, what you want to send as part of your email is, the first thing is I want to send weather information as well as quote information. Okay, for that, let me get schema here. So first thing is I want to send the today's weather, that is current temperature. For that, let me drag this. You can simply drag and drop here. Okay, and then so after temperature, I want to have the units of temperature, whether it's a Fahrenheit or Celsius. So for that, let me drag this, and then so before that, let me add another message. Good morning. Okay, temperature. So after temperature, I want to send information about wind speed. So wind speed. Okay, here let me uh, get the wind details. That is, wind speed is this. After that, wait a minute. Yeah. So after wind speed, again here as well, wind speed units. That is this one. Okay. Now after temperature and then wind speed, the next thing is quote of the day. Okay. So for quote of the day, we should get the information from get quote node. Here we have a message in queue. Okay. Let's drag here. After that, the author information. That is this author. Okay. So we successfully created or constructed the message to send it to our email. So let's rename this message, and then the type is string. So if you see here, as and when we are constructing our message, you can see the result. Okay, what exactly it's going to be. If you see here, our message is will look like good morning, temperature, wind speed, and then quote of the day. Okay, I think quote of the day missing author information. Let me check again here. Okay, yeah, quote and then author information. Let me drag author here. Okay, now if you see author information as well. So this is about edit fields node. Okay, here we successfully constructed our message to set the data for our workflow. Okay, after this, the final step is to send an email on daily basis, right? So for that, we need Gmail node where the operation should be, our action should be send message. Okay, here the first thing what we have to do is we should provide credentials to let n8n connect to our Gmail. So I have already created the authentication. If you don't have existing, what you have to do is you should click on create new credentials. Here either you can use OAuth authentication or service account. But I used OAuth authentication. Here I used sign in with Google. So I let my n8n to connect to my Gmail. So if you haven't done that, you should create one credential before you use the Gmail node to send a email. Okay, and then the resource is message. The operation which we want to perform using Gmail node is send. Here we should copy our Gmail account. Okay, that is, let me copy my Gmail account which I'm going to use for my demo. Okay, here let's copy here, and then the next thing is subject. Let's keep it daily weather and motivation. Okay, that's the subject of our email, and the email type is HTML. Okay, that's it about email node where we are sending a message to Gmail. Okay, now Let's go back to canvas. So here we are seeing an error. Okay, the error is, so we did all the things, but we forgot to send a message. That is what the body should contain. Okay, here message is required field. So before setting message, I'll show you one more thing. So if you see here, we don't have anything on the left side, right, to set the message. Here in this case, you should set it manually. Go back to canvas and then execute this previous node so that we'll get all the information which we want to set to message. Okay, let's execute it. Now come back to this. You see here, we got the even the output of the previous node, that is edit field. So now what we want to set here is we want to set the message which we want to send as part of body of email. So just simply drag this which we constructed in the previous node. That's it. Okay, if you see even here as well, it shows the result how the email body of our email will contain. Okay, so that's it about the node. Okay, now let's execute and then see. Now click on here, execute workflow. So our workflow is successfully completed. Now just go back to the message, that is email, and then check. Let me refresh it. It takes some time to receive email from uh, n8n. Okay, see, this is the message which we constructed. If you see here, good morning, temperature, wind speed, and then whatever the motivation quote of the day. Okay, that's it about the n8n workflow which we created to send an email on daily basis, and the email should contain the today's weather as well as motivational quote. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe for more technical videos.